Did I want to get outside and walk today? No, I did not. But this is half the battle when you're recovering from chronic illness with a mind-body approach. Half the battle is just honestly willing yourself to get up, because you don't want to get up. Believe me, I know. You don't want to do things. Some days you're like super...
Over there too.
Oh, do you guys want to crunch? Okay, let's go. Some days you're like on it, you're motivated, and then there's other days where you're just like, ugh. Today is one of those days for me. But we are getting up anyway, and we're doing this because this is what it takes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, Louise, get on the sidewalk. Thank you. One of my only Black Friday purchases, this Movo VXR.
Black Friday?
Yeah, my VXR 10 little microphone. We live in a really typically windy area of Northern California. So, and I know wind has been an issue in my previous videos, and there's a guy like doing yard work right now, so I'm wondering how the mic is doing here. The link below if you guys want to partake. I think the Black Friday sale is still going on. I'll put it back. So yeah, it's nice getting outside in the fresh air and some sun and moving your body, because you have to move your body. There's no way about it. Like, in order to get well and heal, and you have to, it's very, very counterintuitive, right? Your entire being and your body is telling you, and your brain is telling you, don't get up, lay down, rest. And rest is important, obviously, yes. But at some point, you have to say, F this, I have to get on with my life. And I'm finding that there's a delicate balance in all of that. You know what? And I had this thought, okay, I guess this will be my topic for today. Because we all know, if you've been in the mind-body space, you're healing from chronic symptoms using the mind-body approach. You probably have heard about the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, the limbic system, all these things, right? And I had an epiphany this morning where I was like, if you're like me and you grew up with childhood trauma, like for example, I pretty much had non-existent parents and I wasn't parented. My mom had to work many jobs, and my dad had substance abuse issues, major substance abuse issues. So there's a video out there of me when I was like 5 years old. It was like my 5-year-old birthday party, and my cousins are asking me, what's your dad's name? You know, what's your mom's name? And I didn't even know my dad's name at 5 years old. I was saying my grandpa's name at the time because he was the one that was around. And so basically I've come to realize that as the oldest child, as the oldest daughter, I was not really parented. I was kind of left on my own to figure out life on my own, and that's fine. I'm making peace with that now. But I realized that the amygdala, right, they call it amygdala, trauma brain, it's all part of the limbic system. That's the part that's freaking out. That's the part that's turning on all of these symptoms. It's deemed that life there's so many threats, so it's turning on these symptoms to get your attention, to slow me down. The prefrontal cortex is the area that is like the logical part of the brain, right? It's the part that we're trying to grow and build in order to kind of, oh, they want to hold my hand. Look at these kids. They're so cute. Okay, hold on, when I'm done. We want to grow the prefrontal cortex, because I kind of liken it to, I think my theory is the prefrontal cortex is that part of your brain, the logical, mature part of the brain that should have grown with you into your adulthood. But if you didn't have that modeled to you by your primary caregivers, oh yeah, if you didn't have that modeled to you by your primary caregivers, then I would think your prefrontal cortex is almost not really there. You haven't accessed it. It hasn't grown, you know?
Why is this an open house?
No, it's not an open house. Like, it's not online. So the epiphany that I had this morning was, oh, the amygdala is my child brain. It's the reptilian brain, the trauma brain, the one that's this child, this irrational child that is scared and needs some reassurance, needs some guidance. Unfortunately, if you didn't have primary caregivers who could provide that for you, then that amygdala is gonna run the show. You never had a chance to develop that prefrontal cortex, which I like to say is the parent brain. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a psychologist, this is just my own musings, my own thinking, but it's been very helpful to kind of separate my brain out that way and just think, oh, prefrontal cortex is my parent brain. And it makes sense to me now because I am now a parent to these 3 wonderful children, where it is my job to take a stand, to be firm, to discipline, lovingly of course, to set boundaries so that my children know what behaviors are okay and what behaviors are not, what behaviors are acceptable and expansive, and what behaviors are destructive. So, in thinking of it that way, yeah, we can go. We're gonna go around. So, in thinking of it that way, really, this is where all this reparenting stuff comes from. You are building up your prefrontal cortex. Your parent brain is what I'm coining it. You're building up your parent brain because the truth is you didn't really have parents that were able to parent you in the way that would mature you into a full-fledged autonomous adult. It's nobody's fault, you know? It is really unfortunate and it is really sad that this is the truth of it. But the beautiful thing is now you can decide and you can choose what you're gonna do for you and what you're gonna do for your family, because right now it's all on you, right? In the same way that it's all on me, all the life choices, my life, my healing, my recovery, the way I go about my relationships, it is all 100% on me. I can't blame anyone else. When you're a child, it's not 100% on you. Your livelihood depends on other people, depends on other adults. Any cars?
No.
All right, let's cross. Good job, kids.
There are cars. Mommy, there are cars.
Yeah, but they're parked. But now, it's 100% on you. So we have to take a stand, a calm, relaxed, I know what's best for you stance. I know what behaviors I will accept and what I will reject stance on the amygdala brain, on the brain that's turning on all these symptoms. So this whole thing is about becoming that parent, that loving but firm parent that you may not have experienced or you didn't have. And this whole journey, a part of it, an element to it, is becoming that adult that you should have had when you were a child, you know, who has reason, who uses logic, who is compassionate, who understands that you're feeling terrified or scared or sad or happy or grieving or angry, who can understand that you feel these things, but can say, hey, you don't need to freak out. I hear you. I hear you. So you don't need to keep shouting or keep throwing a tantrum or keep freaking out. I'm here for you. I hear you. You don't need to do these behaviors anymore. So that was my epiphany this morning, where I was like, oh, okay, so the symptoms are being generated from my amygdala, my terrified amygdala. Okay, so I am growing and cultivating a mature prefrontal cortex, a parent brain. And I am becoming the adult, the parent that I wish I had when I was younger, who was mature enough and whole enough to be able to support me as I was growing up. So it always comes back to family dynamics, I'm finding, and it's very fascinating. I didn't realize this was going to be the message today, but keep becoming that parent brain. Keep growing that prefrontal cortex. Keep taking a stand. Not against the symptoms, but a firm stance of, hey, telling your part of you that's freaking out, the amygdala brain, telling that part, hey, I hear you, I see you. You don't need to freak out like this. You're safe. I see you, I hear you. You don't need to do these symptoms. You don't have to do illness anymore. I totally see you. I totally feel you. I totally hear you. I understand you're like super sad, or you're super angry, or you're feeling really helpless and no one was there for you. I understand. I get it. But I just want you to know that you're okay. That we're okay. It's kind of heartbreaking to think about because I didn't have that growing up, but now I can provide that to my kids and the patterns breaking with me. And if you're somehow watching this, then I know that you know that it's true for you too. You're breaking these patterns. You're breaking these patterns of not validating yourself or others, and not being compassionate towards yourself or others. Like all of the stuff that you may have experienced growing up, you're not carrying these on anymore, So yeah, there's so many levels to this. There's so much grief to this too. But yeah, become the parent that you wish you had, because we have to build up this prefrontal cortex that just didn't really have a chance to grow. So, oh, there's a fly trying to come in my house. Okay, and the kids are back, and that was a nice refreshing walk, and I just wish you guys all the love, all the joy, all the peace, all the healing. Take care.